The introduction to Atomic Habits sets the stage by emphasizing the transformative power of small, consistent changes over time. James Clear begins with a personal story about a life-altering accident he suffered as a teenager. A baseball bat to the face that left him with severe injuries, including a fractured skull and broken bones. This event forced him into a long recovery process where he couldn't rely on big, dramatic efforts to reclaim his life. Instead, he turned to tiny adjustments in his daily routines. These incremental steps, like improving his focus in school or rebuilding his athletic skills, eventually led him back to playing baseball at a high level in college. This experience planted the seed for his philosophy. Habits are the compound interest of self-improvement. Small actions, repeated consistently, yield exponential results. Clear argues that most people fail to stick with habits because they focus on grand goals rather than the systems that support them. He introduces the idea that habits are not just about achieving a single outcome, like losing weight or writing a book, but about who you become through the process. The real magic lies in the tiny shifts, the 1% improvements that seem insignificant in the moment but stack up over months and years. He uses the metaphor of an airplane slightly adjusting its course. A minor tweak at takeoff can land you in a completely different destination. This perspective flips the script on traditional self-help advice, which often glorifies overnight success. Instead, Clear champions patience and persistence, suggesting that mastering habits is about embracing the long game. He also touches on why habits matter more than we think. They shape our identity, which in turn reinforces the habits we keep. If you see yourself as a writer, you're more likely to write daily. If you view yourself as a healthy person, you'll naturally gravitate toward better choices. This identity-driven approach is a key pillar of the book. Clear promises that the strategies ahead will be practical, rooted in science, and applicable to anyone willing to put in the effort. He frames the book as a guide to making good habits easy and bad habits hard, all through small, manageable tweaks to your environment, mindset, and routines. Core ideas. Small changes compound into massive results over time. Focus on systems, habits, rather than goals for lasting change. Habits shape identity, and identity drives behavior. Success comes from consistent incremental effort, not dramatic leaps. Expanded explanation. Clear's personal anecdote about his accident isn't just a hook, it's a proof of concept. After his injury, he couldn't rely on willpower alone to recover. He had to rebuild his life, step by step. For example, he started with basic habits, like getting enough sleep and studying regularly, which slowly restored his confidence and capabilities. This mirrors how anyone can approach change. You don't need a heroic overhaul, just a willingness to start small. The airplane analogy drives this home. Imagine a flight from New York to Los Angeles. A 2-degree shift in direction might seem trivial at first, but by the end, you're landing in San Diego instead. That's the power of habits. They steer your life's trajectory subtly but decisively. The shift from goals to systems is a game changer. Goals are fleeting. You hit a target, then what? Systems, though, are ongoing. If you want to run a marathon, training daily is the system. The race is just. Clear's point is that we often obsess over the finish line and ignore the daily grind that gets us there. Are the building blocks of a bigger picture, your identity. He suggests that every time you perform a habit, you're casting a vote for the person you want to be. Write a page, and you're a writer. Hit the gym, and you're an athlete. Over time, these votes pile up, and your self-image shifts to match your actions. The introduction promises a roadmap to make this process intentional and effective, setting up the practical advice to come. Chapter 1. The Surprising Power of Atomic Habits. Chapter 1 dives deeper into why tiny habits are so potent and why we often underestimate them. Clear opens with a story about the British cycling team, which went from a laughingstock to a powerhouse in the early 2000s. For decades, they'd floundered, winning almost nothing. Then, a new coach, Dave Brailsford, took over and introduced a strategy called the aggregation of marginal gains. Instead of chasing big wins, he focused on improving every little detail by 1%. Better bike seats, lighter tires, even rubbing alcohol on the wheels to reduce friction. Within a few years, the team dominated the Olympics and Tour de France. This story illustrates Clear's central thesis. Small changes, when accumulated, create a ripple effect that leads to extraordinary outcomes. He explains that habits work like compound interest in finance. Just as a dollar saved today grows with interest over decades, a small habit practiced daily multiplies its impact over time. For instance, improving by 1% each day doesn't sound like much, but over a year, you're 37 times better than when you started. On the flip side, neglecting small habits can compound negatively. Skip exercise for a week, and it's no big deal, but let it slide for a year, and the decline is steep. This math underpins why habits are so deceptive. Their effects are invisible early on, which is why people give up too soon. Clear calls this the plateau of latent potential, the gap between effort and visible results. You might toil away at a habit for weeks or months before seeing a payoff, but once you break through, the gains accelerate. Clear also tackles the myth of overnight success. He argues that we're conditioned to expect quick fixes, but real change is slow and unglamorous. He uses an analogy of a stonecutter hammering a rock. The first 99 blows seem to do nothing, but the 100th splits it open. The earlier strikes weren't wasted. They built up to the breakthrough. Habits are the same. Each repetition strengthens the foundation, even if you don't see it yet. He warns against the valley of disappointment, where early results fall short of expectations, tempting you to quit. The key is to trust the process and stick with it past this dip. Finally, he shifts focus from outcomes to behaviors. Goals are about what you want, e.g., losing 20 pounds, but habits are about how you get there, e.g., eating vegetables daily. Outcomes lag behind actions, so obsessing over the former can derail you. Instead, Clear urges readers to prioritize the small steps and let the results follow naturally. This mindset makes habits less daunting and more sustainable, setting the stage for the practical tools in later chapters. Core ideas. Tiny habits compound into massive results. Aggregation of marginal gains. Habits follow a growth curve with a delay. Effort precedes reward. Plateau of latent potential. Success is gradual, not instant. Persistence beats impatience. Focus on behaviors, habits, not outcomes, goals, for lasting change. Expanded explanation. The British cycling story is a masterstroke of storytelling. It's not just inspiring, it's a blueprint. Brailsford didn't overhaul the team with a flashy new playbook. He tweaked the mundane stuff no one else bothered with. Hand-washing routines to avoid colds, custom mattresses for better sleep. These weren't sexy, but they added up. Clear uses this to show that habits don't need to be dramatic to work. You don't have to run a marathon tomorrow. Start with a 5-minute walk. The 1% rule scales this up. If you write 100 words today and add 1% more each day, you're churning out novels in no time. The flip side is sobering. Slacking off by 1% daily erodes progress just as fast. It's a wake-up call to take the small stuff seriously. The plateau of latent potential is where Clear gets psychological. He's saying that habits test your faith. Early on, you're grinding with no proof it's working. Imagine trying to get fit. The first month of workouts might not slim your waist, but it's rewiring your body beneath the surface. That delay trips people up. They want instant gratification, not a slow burn. The stonecutter analogy nails this. Every swing matters, even if the rock looks unchanged. It's a plea for patience in a world obsessed with hacks and shortcuts. Clear's not promising magic. He's promising math. Stick with it, and the curve bends in your favor. The behavior over outcomes angle ties it all together. Goals can paralyze you. Lose 20 pounds, and you're fixated on a number that's out of reach. Habits, though, are in your control. Cook a healthy meal today, and you've won. Clear's shifting the spotlight from the finish line to the starting block, making change feel less overwhelming. It's a subtle but radical reframing. Don't chase the prize, build the path. This chapter lays the groundwork for why habits matter and why they're worth the effort, priming you for the how-to that follows. Chapter 2, How Your Habits Shape Your Identity, and vice versa. Chapter 2 explores the deep connection between habits and identity, arguing that lasting change comes not from chasing outcomes, but from transforming who you believe you are. Clear begins with a thought experiment. Imagine two people trying to quit smoking. One says, "No thanks, I'm trying to quit," while the other says, "No thanks, I'm not a smoker." The difference seems small, but it's profound. The first person still identifies as a smoker fighting temptation. The second has already shifted their self-image to a non-smoker. Clear uses this to introduce a key insight. Habits stick when they align with your identity. The more your actions reinforce who you see yourself as, the easier they become to maintain. He breaks change into 3 layers, like an onion. The outermost layer is outcomes, things like losing weight or earning a promotion. The middle layer is processes, the habits and systems you use, like exercising or studying. The deepest layer is identity, your beliefs about yourself, such as, "I'm a fit person," or "I'm a learner." Most people start with outcomes, setting goals and hoping habits follow. Clear flips this. Start with identity and let habits and outcomes flow from there. Why? Because behavior driven by who you are is more sustainable than behavior driven by what you want. If you believe you're a writer, writing daily feels natural. If you're just aiming to finish a book, it's a chore. Clear explains that habits are a two-way street. They reflect your identity, and they reinforce it. Every time you act, you're casting a vote for the person you want to become. Run a mile, and you vote for being a runner. Skip junk food, and you vote for being healthy. One action won't redefine you, but hundreds of small votes, piled up over time, shift the balance. He compares it to a scale tipping. At first, the old you outweighs the new you, but consistent habits add weight to the new side until it takes over. This is why small habits matter. They're not just tasks, they're identity builders. He also warns against the trap of outcome-based thinking. If you tie your habits to a goal, like losing 10 pounds, you might stop once you hit it, or give up if you don't. Identity-based habits, though, keep going because they're about being, not achieving. Clear shares a story about a friend who lost weight by asking himself, "What would a healthy person do?" before every choice. This mindset shift turn decisions into opportunities to live out his new identity, not just chase a number. It's a subtle but powerful reframing. Habits become expressions of self, not means to an end. Finally, Clear offers a practical takeaway. To build a habit, decide who you want to be, then prove it with small wins. Want to be a musician? Practice 5 minutes a day. Want to be organized? Tidy your desk daily. These tiny proofs accumulate, rewiring your self-image. He stresses that it's not about perfection. Missed days don't erase progress, but about direction. The goal isn't to be flawless. It's to keep voting for the you you're building. This chapter sets up habits as a tool for self-creation, not just self-improvement. Core ideas. Habits are most effective when tied to identity, not outcomes. Change happens in 3 layers: outcomes, processes, and identity. Start with the deepest layer. Every habit is a vote for the person you want to become. Small, consistent actions gradually reshape your self-image. Focus on being the type of person you want to be, not just hitting a target. Expanded explanation. The smoker example is a brilliant opener. It's relatable and cuts to the chase. The phrase, "I'm not a smoker," isn't just wordplay. It's a declaration of self. Clear's arguing that willpower alone, gritting your teeth to resist a cigarette, pales next to belief. If you don't see yourself as a smoker, saying no feels effortless, not forced. This ties into the 3-layer model: outcomes, quitting smoking, and processes, avoiding triggers, matter. But identity, "I'm a non-smoker," is the anchor. It's a radical departure from how we usually approach habits. We're trained to set targets, run a 5K, save $1,000, but Clear says that's backward. Start with, "I'm a runner," or "I'm a saver," and the rest follows. The voting metaphor is where this gets tangible. Picture a literal ballot box in your mind. Every time you write a sentence, you drop a slip for writer. Every time you hit the gym, a vote for athlete. Early on, the box is mostly empty or stuffed with votes for your old self. Lazy, disorganized, whatever. But keep at it, and the tally shifts. Clear's not saying one workout makes you a fitness guru. He's saying it's a deposit in the identity bank. Over months, those deposits compound, and one day you look in the mirror and think, "Yeah, this is me." It's slow, unglamorous, and exactly why it works. Real change isn't a lightning bolt. It's a brick-by-brick build. The pitfalls of outcome obsession hit hard. Goals are fragile. Hit them, and you might coast. Miss them, and you're crushed. Clear's friend who asked, "What would a healthy person do?" dodged that trap. Instead of fixating on a scale, he lived the part. Choosing salads, taking stairs, until healthy wasn't a goal. It was him. It's a mindset hack. Every choice becomes a chance to embody your ideal self, not a test of your progress. This flips habits from a grind into a game of self-discovery. You're not suffering through push-ups to lose weight. You're proving you're the kind of person who shows up. The practical advice seals the deal. Clear's not preaching theory. He's giving you a playbook. Pick an identity. "I'm a reader," then act it out. Read a page a day. It's so simple it's disarming, but that's the point. Habits don't need to be heroic to rewrite you. The small wins idea echoes Chapter 1's 1% gains, but here it's personal, not abstract. Tidy your desk, and you're not just cleaning. You're voting for organized. Miss a day? No biggie. The scale doesn't reset, it just pauses. This chapter reframes habits as a mirror. They show you who you are and let you decide who you'll become. Chapter 3. How to build better habits in 4 simple steps. Chapter 3 introduces a practical framework for creating and sustaining habits, boiling it down to 4 straightforward steps rooted in behavioral science. Clear starts with a story about a man named Brian who lost significant weight by using a simple trick. He'd turn on the treadmill and step on it for just 5 minutes. No pressure to do more. Over time, those 5 minutes stretched into longer workouts, and the habit stuck. This anecdote sets up Clear's big idea. Habits aren't about willpower or complexity. They're about understanding how behavior works and making it easy. He presents the habit loop: cue, craving, response, reward, as the engine driving every habit, good or bad, and shows how to tweak it intentionally. The first step is the cue, the trigger that kicks off a habit. It's the spark. Seeing a cookie on the counter, hearing your phone buzz, that signals your brain to act. Clear explains that cues are often automatic, tied to your environment or routine, like brushing your teeth when you wake up. The second step is craving, the feeling that pulls you toward the action. It's not the habit itself you want, eating the cookie, but the payoff, feeling satisfied. Cravings turn cues into motivation. The third step is the response, the action you take, like grabbing the cookie or hitting the treadmill. Finally, the reward is what closes the loop, the good feeling or result that makes your brain say, "Let's do that again." Together, these 4 steps form a cycle that, when repeated, wires habits into your life. Clear ties this to science, drawing on psychologist Edward Thorndike's work with cats in puzzle boxes. The cats learned to escape faster each time because they linked a cue, being trapped, to a response, pressing a lever, and a reward, freedom. Humans work the same way. Behaviors that feel good get repeated. Those that don't fade away. He also nods to B.F. Skinner's operant conditioning, where rewards shape actions over time. The habit loop isn't just theory. It's how your brain builds routines, from mundane stuff like tying your shoes to tougher challenges like exercising regularly. The real power comes in using these steps deliberately. Clear offers 4 laws of behavior change to match the loop. Make it obvious, cue, make it attractive, craving, make it easy, response, and make it satisfying, reward. Want to read more? Put a book on your pillow, obvious. Pick a genre you love, attractive. Start with 1 page, easy, and track your streak, satisfying. He contrasts this with breaking bad habits. Make cues invisible, cravings unappealing, actions hard, and rewards unsatisfying. For example, to stop snacking, hide the junk food. Think of it as unhealthy, lock it away, and replace it with a boring alternative. It's a blueprint for hacking your behavior. Clear emphasizes that this isn't about grand gestures. It's about small, repeatable tweaks. Brian's treadmill trick worked because it was obvious. Treadmill in sight, attractive, 5 minutes felt doable, easy, no big commitment, and satisfying. He felt accomplished. The loop doesn't need to be perfect. It just needs to run. Over time, the brain links the cue to the reward so tightly that the habit feels automatic. This chapter shifts from why habits matter to how to build them, giving you a toolkit to shape your days. Core ideas. Habits follow a 4-step loop: cue, craving, response, reward. Behavior is driven by triggers, cues, and reinforced by payoffs, rewards. 4 laws of behavior change. Make it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying. Small intentional adjustments to the loop create lasting habits. Use the same loop to break bad habits by inverting the laws. Expanded explanation. Brian's story is a perfect entry point. It's not about a fitness guru, just a guy who figured out how to start. 5 minutes on the treadmill sounds trivial, but that's the genius. It's so simple it's hard to skip. Clear showing that habits don't need to be intimidating. They just need a nudge. The habit loop breaks this down. The treadmill was the cue. The craving was feeling productive. The response was stepping on, and the reward was a sense of progress. Run that cycle enough times, and your brain stops debating. It just moves. It's like how you don't think about buckling your seatbelt anymore. The car door shutting, cue, triggers it automatically. The science angle makes this concrete. Thorndike's cats didn't plan their escape. They stumbled into it, and the reward locked it in. You're not so different. Scroll social media because the ping, cue, sparks a craving, connection. The swipe, response, delivers it, and the likes, reward, keep you hooked. Clear's point is that your habits aren't random. They're engineered by this loop, whether you notice or not. The 4 laws turn that into a superpower. Make it obvious? Leave your running shoes by the door. Attractive? Pair exercise with music you love. Easy? Start with a walk. Satisfying? Mark an X on a calendar. It's a recipe you can remix for anything. The inversion for bad habits is just as clever. Hiding snacks makes the cue vanish. Picturing clogged arteries kills the craving. Storing them upstairs adds friction. And swapping them for celery leaves you meh instead of happy. It's not about fighting temptation. It's about rigging the game so you don't have to. Clear's not asking for heroics. He's asking for strategy. Brian didn't willpower his way to fitness. He looped his way there. The beauty is in the simplicity. Tweak one step, and the whole cycle shifts. This chapter hands you the controls, making habits less mysterious and more manageable. Chapter 4. The Man Who Didn't Look Right. Chapter 4 dives into the first law of behavior change, make it obvious, by exploring how awareness of your habits is the starting point for reshaping them. Clear opens with a story about a hospital emergency. Clear opens with a story about a hospital emergency room where a nurse's gut instinct saved a patient's life. The man came in with chest pain, but his vitals looked normal. Something felt off to her, though. He didn't look right. She pushed for more tests, and they found a major heart issue just in time. Clear uses this to illustrate the power of subtle cues. The nurse's trained intuition picked up signals her conscious mind couldn't name. Habits work the same way. Your brain is constantly scanning for cues, often without you noticing, driving actions you barely register. He introduces the idea that most habits are autopilot responses to your environment. You grab your phone when it buzzes or snack, when you pass the kitchen because those cues are baked into your surroundings. To change habits, you first need to see them. Clear suggests a simple tool, the Habits Scorecard. Write down everything you do in a day. Wake up, check phone, make coffee, scroll news, and mark each as positive, plus, negative, or neutral wows. The point isn't to judge yet, just to observe. He shares how he did this himself, noticing how often he checked his phone mindlessly. Awareness flips the switch from automatic to intentional, letting you spot patterns you can tweak. Clear ties this to science with the pointing and calling method from Japanese railways. Train operators call out every signal and action aloud. Green light, proceeding, to stay alert. It sounds silly, but it cuts errors dramatically by making the unconscious conscious. Habits need the same spotlight. You might not realize how a messy desk cues procrastination until you list it out. Once you do, you can adjust the trigger. Tidy the desk, change the habit. He stresses that cues are context-specific. Time, place, mood, or even people around you can spark a routine. Recognizing these anchors is step 1 to rewiring them. The chapter also covers implementation intentions, a fancy term for a simple trick. Plan exactly when and where you'll act. Instead of, "I'll exercise more," Say, I'll jog at 6 p.m. in the park. Clear cites research showing this doubles your odds of follow-through. Vague goals flop, but specific ones stick. He pairs this with habit stacking, linking a new habit to an old one. After I brush my teeth, I'll meditate for 2 minutes. These strategies make cues obvious by design, turning intention into action. For bad habits, it's the reverse. Hide the cues, like stashing the remote to cut TV binging. Clear wraps up with a nod to environment's outsized role. Your space shapes your behavior more than you think. A cookie jar on the counter begs to be opened, while one in the pantry stays forgotten. Making good habits obvious means putting cues front and center. Gym bag by the door, book on the nightstand. It's not about willpower, it's about setting the stage. This chapter hands you a magnifying glass to see your habits and a map to redirect them. Core ideas. Habits start with cues, often unnoticed, triggered by your environment. Awareness is the first step. Track your habits to make them visible. Make good habits obvious with specific plans, implementation intentions, and stacking. Environment drives behavior. Adjust it to cue the right actions. Pointing out habits, like pointing and calling, breaks autopilot mode. Expanded. Explanation. The ER story hooks you right away. It's tense, human, and sneaky smart. The nurse didn't save the guy with a checklist. She felt the cue in her bones. Clear saying your brain's doing that all day, picking up signals like a messy bed or a coffee pot and nudging you into habits. Most of us don't notice because it's background noise, like how you don't hear the fridge hum until it stops. The habit scorecard is your earplugs off moment. Listing check phone 10 times a day isn't shaming, it's revealing. Clear's own phone habit shows he's not above it. He's just figured out how to peek behind the curtain. The Japanese train trick is a gem. Yelling, "Track clear," sounds over the top, but it's a wake-up call, literally. Habits thrive in the dark. Shine a light, and you can steer them. Say you snack every night while watching TV. Write it down, and suddenly you see the cue, plopping on the couch. Move the chips to the garage, and the loop stalls. Clear's not asking you to rethink your soul, just your sofa. The science backs it. Studies show conscious attention slashes mistakes, whether it's a train wreck or a cookie binge. It's less about discipline, more about detection. Implementation intentions and habit stacking are where it gets practical. I'll read more is a wish. I'll read at 8 p.m. on the porch is a plan. Research says it works because your brain loves a script. Give it a when and where, and it's halfway done. Stacking's even slicker. Tie, stretch, to make coffee, and it rides the old habit's coattails. Clear's making the cue so loud you can't miss it. For bad habits, flip it, bury the cue. No candy bowl, no munching. It's chess, not a brawl. Move the pieces, and the game changes. The environment bit is the kicker. Your kitchen, desk, car, they're not just places, they're puppet masters. A guitar in the corner begs to be played. One in the closet gathers dust. Clear's not preaching grit, he's preaching geography. Put sneakers by the bed, and you're halfway to a run. It's so simple it's almost sneaky, but that's the point. Habits aren't hard if the stage is set. This chapter's your director's chair. Spot the cues, rewrite the script, and watch the show shift. Chapter 5. The best way to start a new habit. Chapter 5 zeroes in on making new habits stick by harnessing the second law of behavior change. Make it attractive. Clear kicks off with a quirky historical tidbit about Edward Bernays, the father of public relations. who got women smoking in the 1920s by branding cigarettes as torches of freedom. It worked because he tapped into a craving, liberation, and linked it to a behavior. Clear uses this to show that habits don't just happen, they're pulled along by desire. The more appealing a habit feels, the more likely you'll do it. This chapter is about rigging that appeal so new habits feel irresistible, not forced. He dives into the brain's reward system, explaining how dopamine, the feel-good chemical, drives behavior. Dopamine doesn't just spike when you get a reward, like eating chocolate. It surges when you anticipate it. Clear cites studies with rats pressing levers for food. Their dopamine peaked not when they ate, but when they saw the cue. Humans are wired the same way. Scroll Instagram, and the thrill isn't the posts. It's the promise of likes or surprises. To start a habit, then, you need to crank up that anticipation. Make it attractive enough, and your brain practically drags you to it. Clear offers a trick called temptation bundling to juice up the appeal. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. Love podcasts, only listen while you exercise. Crave coffee, brew it after you meditate. He shares how a guy named Ronan used this to get fit. He'd watch Netflix only while pedaling a stationary bike. It flips the script. Exercise isn't a slog, it's the key to your next binge watch. The craving for the fun part, Netflix, pulls the habit, cycling, along for the ride. It's a cheat code. Stack pleasure onto duty, and suddenly duty's not so bad. He also explores how culture and social norms shape what's attractive. You're drawn to habits that win approval from your tribe, your friends, family, or co-workers. If your crew runs marathons, jogging feels cool. If they mock fitness, it's a drag. Clear calls this the power of imitation. We mimic the people we admire or live with. Want to read more? Hang with bookworms and it'll rub off. This isn't about peer pressure. It's about belonging. Habits that align with your group's vibe feel magnetic because they tie you to your people. Finally, Clear flips the lens. To ditch bad habits, make them unattractive, reframe them in your mind. See smoking as poisoning yourself, not relaxing. He's not saying it's easy, but shifting the story shifts the craving. For new habits, the goal is to build a positive pull. Start small, stack it with joy, and lean on your surroundings to keep the spark alive. This chapter's about seduction, not discipline. Make the habit chase you. Core ideas. Habits thrive when they're attractive. Cravings drive action. Dopamine spikes with anticipation, not just reward. So build excitement. Temptation bundling pairs a want with a need to boost appeal. Social imitation makes habits attractive. Your tribe shapes your desires. Reframe bad habits as unappealing to weaken their pull. Expanded explanation. The Bernays story is a wild opener. Cigarettes as feminist icons. It's absurd, but it worked because he hacked desire. Clear's not praising smoking. He's dissecting the mechanics. Habits don't stick because they're noble. They stick because they itch a scratch. That's where dopamine comes in. The rat studies are a light bulb moment. The buzz hits before the payoff, like how your mouth waters when you smell pizza. For a new habit, you've got to cook up that smell. If writing's your goal, imagine the thrill of a finished story, not the grind of typing. It's about tricking your brain into chasing the high. Expanded explanation. The ER story hooks you right away. It's tense, human, and sneaky smart. The nurse didn't save the guy with a checklist. She felt the cue in her bones. Clear saying your brain's doing that all day, picking up signals like a messy bed or a coffee pot and nudging you into habits. Most of us don't notice because it's background noise, like how you don't hear the fridge hum until it stops. The habit scorecard is your earplugs off moment. Listing check phone 10 times a day isn't shaming, it's revealing. Clear's own phone habit shows he's not above it. He's just figured out how to peek behind the curtain. The Japanese train trick is a gem. Yelling, "Track clear," sounds over the top, but it's a wake-up call, literally. Habits thrive in the dark. Shine a light, and you can steer them. Say you snack every night while watching TV. Write it down, and suddenly you see the cue, plopping on the couch. Move the chips to the garage, and the loop stalls. Clear's not asking you to rethink your soul, just your sofa. The science backs it. Studies show conscious attention slashes mistakes, whether it's a train wreck or a cookie binge. It's less about discipline, more about detection. Implementation intentions and habit stacking are where it gets practical. "I'll read more" is a wish. "I'll read at 8 p.m. on the porch" is a plan. Research says it works because your brain loves a script. Give it a when and where, and it's halfway done. Stacking's even slicker. Tie, stretch, to make coffee, and it rides the old habit's coattails. Clear's making the cue so loud you can't miss it. For bad habits, flip it, bury the cue. No candy bowl, no munching. It's chess, not a brawl. Move the pieces, and the game changes. The environment bit is the kicker. Your kitchen, desk, car, they're not just places, they're puppet masters. A guitar in the corner begs to be played. One in the closet gathers dust. Clear's not preaching grit, he's preaching geography. Put sneakers by the bed, and you're halfway to a run. It's so simple it's almost sneaky, but that's the point. Habits aren't hard if the stage is set. This chapter's your director's chair. Spot the cues, rewrite the script, and watch the show shift. Chapter 5. The best way to start a new habit. Chapter 5 zeroes in on making new habits stick by harnessing the second law of behavior change. Make it attractive. Clear kicks off with a quirky historical tidbit about Edward Bernays, the father of public relations, who got women smoking in the 1920s by branding cigarettes as torches of freedom. It worked because he tapped into a craving, liberation, and linked it to a behavior. Clear uses this to show that habits don't just happen, they're pulled along by desire. The more appealing a habit feels, the more likely you'll do it. This chapter is about rigging that appeal so new habits feel irresistible, not forced. He dives into the brain's reward system, explaining how dopamine, the feel-good chemical, drives behavior. Dopamine doesn't just spike when you get a reward. Like eating chocolate, it surges when you anticipate it. Clear cites studies with rats pressing levers for food. Their dopamine peaked not when they ate, but when they saw the cue. Humans are wired the same way. Scroll Instagram, and the thrill isn't the posts. It's the promise of likes or surprises. To start a habit, then, you need to crank up that anticipation. Make it attractive enough, and your brain practically drags you to it. Clear offers a trick called temptation bundling to juice up the appeal. Pair something you want to do with something you need to do. Love podcasts, only listen while you exercise. Crave coffee, brew it after you meditate. He shares how a guy named Ronan used this to get fit. He'd watch Netflix only while pedaling a stationary bike. It flips the script. Exercise isn't a slog, it's the key to your next binge watch. The craving for the fun part, Netflix, pulls the habit, cycling, along for the ride. It's a cheat code. Stack pleasure onto duty, and suddenly duty's not so bad. He also explores how culture and social norms shape what's attractive. You're drawn to habits that win approval from your tribe, your friends, family, or co-workers. If your crew runs marathons, jogging feels cool. If they mock fitness, it's a drag. Clear calls this the power of imitation. We mimic the people we admire or live with. Want to read more? Hang with bookworms and it'll rub off. This isn't about peer pressure. It's about belonging. Habits that align with your group's vibe feel magnetic because they tie you to your people. Finally, Clear flips the lens. To ditch bad habits, make them unattractive. Reframe them in your mind. See smoking as poisoning yourself, not relaxing. He's not saying it's easy, but shifting the story shifts the craving. For new habits, the goal is to build a positive pull. Start small, stack it with joy, and lean on your surroundings to keep the spark alive. This chapter's about seduction, not discipline. Make the habit chase you. Core ideas. Habits thrive when they're attractive. Cravings drive action. Dopamine spikes with anticipation, not just reward. So build excitement. Temptation bundling pairs a want with a need to boost appeal. Social imitation makes habits attractive. Your tribe shapes your desires. Reframe bad habits as unappealing to weaken their pull. Expanded explanation. The Bernays story is a wild opener. Cigarettes as feminist icons. It's absurd, but it worked because he hacked desire. Clear's not praising smoking. He's dissecting the mechanics. Habits don't stick because they're noble. They stick because they itch a scratch. That's where dopamine comes in. The rat studies are a light bulb moment. The buzz hits before the payoff, like how your mouth waters when you smell pizza. For a new habit, you've got to cook up that smell. If writing's your goal, imagine the thrill of a finished story, not the grind of typing. It's about tricking your brain into chasing the high. Temptation bundling is pure gold. Ronan's Netflix bike combo is so simple, it's brilliant. Why suffer through a workout when you can bribe yourself with drama? It's not lazy, it's strategic. Say you want to journal but love music. Only play your favorite playlist while you write, and soon the pen's in your hand before you think twice. Clear's tapping into human nature. We're suckers for instant gratification. Link that to a slow burn habit, and you've got traction. It's less about willpower, more about baiting the hook with something juicy. The social angle hits home. Ever notice how you pick up your roommate's slang or your buddy's gym habit? Clear's saying that's not random, it's evolution. We copy the pack to fit in, and what the pack loves, we crave. If your friends rave about yoga, you'll eye that mat with new interest. It's not shallow, it's survival. Belonging feels good. So, stack the deck. Surround yourself with people who live the habits you want. Their cool factor rubs off, and suddenly flossing or coding isn't just useful. It's you. The reframing twist is sneaky smart. Bad habits lean on shiny lies. Soda's a treat, not a sugar bomb. Call it out, and the shine dims. Picture scrolling X as doom loop instead of catching up, and the urge fades. For good habits, paint them pretty. Running's not sweat, it's freedom. Clear's handing you a paintbrush. Color the habit to match your cravings. This chapter's a masterclass in desire. Don't fight your nature, redirect it. Make the cue a siren song, and you're halfway there. Chapter 6. Motivation is overrated. Environment often matters more. Chapter 6 shifts the spotlight from internal grit to external setup, arguing that your surroundings shape your habits more than your willpower ever will. Clear starts with a historical curveball. In the 1950s, American soldiers in Vietnam got hooked on heroin at alarming rates. About 35% used it regularly. Experts feared a flood of addicts when they returned home, but something surprising happened. 95% of them quit cold turkey once back in the States. Why? The environment changed. Stress, boredom, and easy access fueled the habit. Home life didn't. Truth. Context trumps motivation. You don't need more resolve. You need a better stage. He digs into why environment is so powerful. Habits are responses to cues, and those cues live in your world, your kitchen, desk, phone. A cookie jar on the counter screams, "Eat me." Tucked in a cabinet, it's mute. Clear calls this the third law of behavior change. Make it easy. The less effort a habit takes, the more likely you'll do it. He cites a study where people ate 23% less candy when it was moved 6 feet away. Distance isn't willpower, it's friction. Flip it for good habits. Leave your guitar out, and you'll strum more. Your space isn't neutral. It's a silent partner in every choice. Clear busts the myth of motivation as the Holy Grail. It's fickle. Some days you're pumped, others you're flat. Environment, though, is steady. He tells of Victor Hugo, who wrote The Hunchback of Notre Dame by locking his clothes away, leaving only a shawl. No outfit, no escaping to procrastinate. He finished the book early. It's extreme, but it shows the point. Rig your setup, and you don't need to feel inspired. Small tweaks work too. Plug your phone in across the room and you're less likely to scroll in bed. Ease beats enthusiasm every time. He introduces the 2-minute rule to kickstart habits. Scale them down to something so simple it's laughable. Want to run? Just lace up your shoes. Want to read? Open the book. 2 minutes isn't the goal, it's the gateway. Clear calls these entry points. Decisive moments. Tiny choices that tip you into a habit or away from it. Once you start, momentum often carries you further. He shares how a woman began exercising by driving to the gym, sitting there for 2 minutes, then leaving. Soon she stayed longer. The trick. Make starting effortless and the rest follows. Finally, Clear flips the script for bad habits. Make them hard. Add friction. Lock snacks in a safe. Uninstall apps. Cancel cable. He's not saying motivation's useless, just overrated. A well-designed environment does the heavy lifting, nudging you toward good and away from bad without a pep talk. This chapter's a reality check. Stop waiting to feel ready and start rearranging your room. Core ideas. Environment shapes habits more than motivation. Context is king. Make good habits easy by reducing friction and placing cues in your path. Motivation fades. A smart setup doesn't. Design your space to win. The 2-minute rule. Start with a tiny, effortless step to build momentum. Add friction to bad habits to break them. Ease drives action. Effort kills it. Expanded explanation. The Vietnam story is a jaw-dropper. The substance is a beast, yet 95% kicked it. It's not a fluke, it's a lesson. Those soldiers didn't white-knuckle their way clean. They stepped off a stage rigged for addiction. Clear saying your life's the same. That couch potato vibe isn't all you. It's the remote, in reach. Environments like gravity. You don't fight it, you use it. The candy study nails it. 6 feet cut 23% of munching. Not because people got tougher, but because they got lazier. Make veggies the easy grab instead, and you're munching green without a sermon. Motivation's overblown status gets a well-deserved jab. We've all had those "I'll start Monday" moments. Then Monday's a slog. Clear's not knocking the feeling. He's just saying it's a lousy foundation. Hugo's naked writing stint is bonkers, but brilliant. No clothes, no distractions, just ink. You don't need to strip down, though. Move your phone charger 10 feet, and bedtime scrolling's toast. It's not about psyching up. It's about pruning the path. Ease is the secret sauce. Why wrestle yourself when you can sidestep the match? The 2-minute rule is a game changer. Lace up shoes, that's it? Yup, and it works. Because starting's the hurdle, not the marathon. Clear's woman driving to the gym is proof. 2 minutes of sitting there sounds pointless, but it built a bridge. It's psychology, not magic. Your brain hates big leaps, but shrugs at baby steps. Once you're in motion, inertia's your pal. 2 minutes of reading turns into 20 before you blink. Those decisive moments are the real MVPs. Pour coffee or grab chips. Stack the deck so coffee's closer, and you're winning. The friction flip for bad habits is just as slick. Lock up the cookies and you're not tempted, you're annoyed. Clear's not peddling willpower boot camp. He's peddling laziness as a superpower. Why battle cravings when you can bury them under effort? This chapter's a blueprint. Don't fix your head, fix your house. Shoes by the door, phone in the drawer, little moves, big shifts. It's less about you and more about your orbit. Tweak that, and habits fall into place like dominoes. Chapter 7. The Secret to Self-Control. Chapter 7 tackles the fourth law of behavior change. Make it satisfying, and flips the script on self-control, suggesting it's less about grit and more about setup. Clear opens with a throwback to the Vietnam War again. Circling back to the researchers found that the ones who relapsed back home weren't weaker. They were the ones who returned to the same old haunts. The lesson? Self-control isn't a muscle you flex harder. It's a byproduct of dodging temptation's path. Clear argues that the real secret to sticking with habits, or ditching bad ones, is making the experience rewarding enough to keep coming back. He leans on behavioral science to explain why satisfaction matters. Your brain's wired to repeat what feels good and ditch what doesn't. Simple as that. A habit that leaves you smiling, like a runner's high or a clean inbox, gets a gold star from your neurons. Clear ties this to instant gratification. Modern life bombards us with quick hits, sugar, likes, Netflix binges, that good habits struggle to match. To win, you've got to juice up the payoff. He suggests tracking as a starter. Mark an X on a calendar for every workout, and watching the chain grow feels like a mini win. It's not the sweat that hooks you, it's the streak. Clear digs into the nothing tastes as good as skinny feels myth. Delayed rewards, like health or wealth, don't land in the moment, so your brain shrugs. Bad habits, though, pay now. A donut's bliss is instant, even if the crash comes later. His fix: stack an immediate reward onto good habits. Finish writing a page, then sip your favorite tea. Meditate, then check your phone, guilt-free. It's not cheating, it's engineering. He shares how a friend used this to save money. Every skipped impulse buy got $1 tossed in a fun jar for a trip. The habit stuck because the jar felt better than the regret. He flips it for bad habits, make them unsatisfying. Clear nods to a classic study, the radish experiment, where kids resisted cookies better when the stakes were clear. Eat one, lose a prize. Real life's trickier, but the principle holds. At a cost, tell a friend you'll pay them $10 if you skip the gym, and suddenly slacking stings. He calls this an accountability hack. External pressure makes failure less fun. The catch: rewards have to hit fast. Your brain's too impatient for promises a year out. Clear wraps with a reality check. Self-control isn't about saintly resolve. The disciplined folks we admire, they're just better at avoiding the fight. Move the cookies, mute the notifications. Don't test your willpower, sidestep it. Satisfaction seals the deal. A habit you enjoy doesn't need a leash. This chapter's a playbook for rigging the game so good feels great and bad feels blah. Core ideas. Satisfaction locks in habits. Your brain chases what feels good. Instant rewards beat delayed ones. Stack quick wins onto good habits. Make bad habits unsatisfying with costs or accountability. Self-control's a myth. Dodge temptation, don't duel it. Tracking and small payoffs build momentum over time. Expanded explanation. The Vietnam callback is a slick move. Those soldiers didn't conquer illegal substance with iron wills. They escaped its zip code. Clear's saying you're not a superhero either, and you don't need to be. Self-control's overhyped. Why arm wrestle a craving when you can just not keep ice cream in the house? It's practical, not preachy. Satisfaction's the glue. A habit that ends with a frown won't last, but one that sparks a grin, that's gold. The brain's a reward junkie. Give it a fix, and it'll beg for more. Tracking's a sneaky gem. An X on a calendar's nothing fancy, but it's a dopamine drip. Each mark's a pat on the back. Clear's not wrong. Miss a day, and the chain's busted, which stings just enough to keep you going. It's not about the habit itself. It's the game. Pair that with instant gratification, and you're cooking. Writing's a slog, not if a warm coffee's your prize. Saving's dull, not if a vacation jar's filling up. Clear's hacking our now wiring. Good habits don't have to wait for a distant someday to pay off. The bad habit twist is just as sharp. The Radish kids didn't resist out of nobility. They hated losing more than they loved cookies. Clear's saying stake something. Tell a buddy you'll run, and the cash on the line sours skipping. It's not noble, it's human. We'll dodge pain faster than we'll chase virtue. Even better, make the habit itself a buzzkill. Scroll X, but only on a clunky old laptop. The vibe's gone, and so's the pull. It's less about fighting, more about fumbling the appeal. The self-control takedown's the mic drop. We idolize the stoic, but Clear's like, nah, they're just crafty. Don't flex your resolve, hide the chips. It's not weakness, it's wisdom. Satisfaction's the real boss. A workout that ends with a smoothie beats one that doesn't. Every time. This chapter's a relief. Stop flexing, start fiddling. Make the good stuff sing and the bad stuff sour, and you're not controlling yourself. You're just living better. Chapter 8. How to make a habit irresistible. Chapter 8. Revisits the second law of behavior change. Make it attractive. With a deeper dive into how to supercharge a ascended beyond temptation bundling from Chapter 5. Turning habits into magnetic pulls you can't resist. Clear starts with a tale of a Stanford professor who rigged slot machines with lights and sounds to hook people. The machines didn't just pay out cash, they dazzled the senses, making every spin a thrill. Clear uses this to show that attraction isn't just about the reward, it's about the rush. Habits stick when they feel like a party, not a chore. And this chapter's about throwing that party for yourself. He leans hard into dopamine again, explaining how it's not just about the win. It's the build-up. Studies show animals and people chase unpredictable rewards more than sure things. A rat hits a lever faster when food's a maybe, not a guarantee. Same with you. A text that might be juicy gossip trumps a predictable memo. Clear says to make habits irresistible, sprinkle in some surprise. Love coffee? Brew a fancy blend after a workout, but switch up the flavor. The unpredictability hooks you. It's not just good, it's fun. Temptation bundling gets a remix here. Clear suggests layering habits with stuff you already crave, but now with a twist. Make it a treat you don't overdo. Pair flossing with your favorite trashy reality. He shares a story of a guy who only let himself buy fancy gadgets after hitting savings goals. The habit wasn't saving, it was scoring the toy. It's less about discipline, more about dangling a carrot you actually want, turning should into can't wait. Clear also digs into supernormal stimuli. cues amped up beyond nature's norm. Think junk food. It's sweeter, saltier, fattier than anything wild. So your brain goes nuts. Habits can borrow that vibe. Want to journal? Use a slick pen and luxe notebook. Make it feel indulgent. He's not saying overdo it, just juice it enough to tip the scales. A plain pad might sit there. A leather-bound beauty begs to be opened. It's about crafting a pull that's hard to ignore. He raps with a nudge to reframe habits positively. See running as a chance to blast your playlist, not a slog. Flip the script. Focus on what it gives, not what it takes. Bad habits? Dull their shine. Picture smoking as a drag, not a break. This chapter's about alchemy. Take a blah task, add some sparkle, and watch it stick. Core ideas. Attraction's the engine. Habits need a thrill to pull you in. Dopamine loves surprises. Add unpredictability to spike the crave. Temptation bundling ties habits to treats, making them a must-do. Supernormal stimuli amp up cues to override resistance. Reframe habits as wins, not work, to keep them hot. Expanded explanation. The slot machine hook is a zinger. Those bells and flashes aren't random. They're brain candy. Clear's saying habits can play that game. It's not enough to be useful. They've got to dazzle. Dopamine's the puppet master here. Rats chase the what if, not the sure bet. So tweak your habits with a wild card. Maybe it's a post-run smoothie, but you roll the dice on the flavor. Mango today, mystery tomorrow. That tiny twist keeps your brain buzzing, turning a routine into a mini adventure. Temptation bundling's back, but it's got flair now. Clear's guy with the gadgets didn't just save, he scored. It's not about pairing with any old thing. It's picking a prize you'd fight for. Love a guilty pleasure show? Floss while it's on, and suddenly you're racing to the bathroom. The habit piggybacks on the hype. It's not teeth. It's, yes, drama. The trick's in the rarity. Don't binge daily, or it's just noise. Make it special, and the habit's a ticket to the good stuff. Supernormal stimulai's where it gets wild. Junk food's a Frankenstein of crave. Too good to be real. Clear's saying steal that playbook. A fountain pen and creamy paper aren't just tools. They're a vibe. Writing's not a chore, it's a flex. It's not about splurging big, just nudging the dial past normal. A cheap Bic? Meh. A sleek roller ball? You're scribbling before you think. It's over the top enough to tip you into action. The reframing's the cherry on top. Running's not torture, it's your jam sesh. Smoking's not cool, it's a drag. Clear's handing you a lens. Zoom in on the perk, blur the pain. It's mental gymnastics, sure, but it works. Shift the story, and the craving shifts too. This chapter's a recipe. Take a dull habit, sprinkle some wow, and watch it glow. You're not forcing it, you're falling for it. Chapter 9. The role of family and friends in shaping your habits. Chapter 9 explores how the people around you, family, friends, and even broader social circles, act as invisible architects of your habits, amplifying the make it attractive law from earlier. Clear kicks off with a nod to our tribal roots, recounting how humans evolved in tight-knit groups, where fitting in wasn't just nice, it was survival. That instinct lingers. You're wired to mimic the crowd you run with. He shares a study of kids and candy. Alone, they resisted sweets fine, but with peers grabbing handfuls, they caved fast. Your crew's habits don't just nudge you, they pull like gravity. Clear breaks this social pull into 3 layers. The close, family and friends. The many, your wider community. And the powerful, those you admire. Start with the close. If your roommate's a gym rat, you're more likely to lace up. If they're a couch potato, Netflix wins. He tells of a woman who quit smoking when her husband did, not out of willpower, but because his new habit reshaped their home vibe. The many kick in next. Live in a town of runners, and jogging feels normal. In a sedentary spot, it's odd. Then the powerful, think celebs or mentors, set the bar. Idolize a writer, you'll scribble more. Your habits mirror who you're near or aspire to be. He digs into why this works. Belonging trumps everything. Habits that win your tribe's approval feel hot. Ones that don't, flop. We crave acceptance, so we bend toward the group's groove. This cuts both ways. Surround yourself with go-getters, and their hustle rubs off. Stick with slackers, and good luck getting off the sofa. Clear flips it practical. Use this pull to your advantage. Join a group where your goal's the norm. Book clubs for reading, cycling crews for fitness. He shares how a guy got sober by hanging with AA folks. Their dry lifestyle made his old barfly ways feel off-key. It's not about forcing change. It's about soaking in a new standard. For bad habits, distance matters. Fade from the smoker's circle, and the urge fades too. Your social orbit's a magnet. Pick one that yanks you up. He raps with a twist. You shape others too. Your habits ripple. Start running, and your buddy might tag along. It's a two-way street. Line into tribes that lift you, and you'll lift them back. This chapter's a wake-up call. Your people aren't just company, they're co-authors of your life. Core ideas. Social circles shape habits. You mimic your tribe to belong. 3 influences: close, family friends, many, community, powerful, idols. Habits tied to group approval feel attractive. Outsiders' habits don't. Join groups where your desired habits normal to ride the wave. Your habits echo outward. Choose and build a crew that aligns. Expanded. Explanation. The tribal hook's a gut punch. We're pack animals, plain and simple. That candy study's no shock. Kids don't want to be the odd one out, and neither do you. Clear's saying your habits aren't all yours. They're borrowed. Your sister bakes every weekend. You're snagging cookies. Your bestie's a yogi. You're downward dogging by month's end. The woman and her husband quitting smoking's a quiet stunner. Love synced their habits without a word. It's not peer pressure, it's osmosis. The 3-layer breakdown's sharp. The close hit hardest. Your live-in crew sets the daily tempo. Roommate's a health nut. Kale's in the fridge. The many's subtler but sneaky. A neighborhood of dog walkers makes you grab a leash without thinking. The powerful's aspirational. Scroll X, see a fitness guru, and suddenly planks sound dope. That approval angle's gold. Your brain lights up when your squad nods. Run with marathoners, and a 5K's a badge, not a burden. Flunk that vibe, and the habit's dead weight. Clear's not judging, he's mapping. Want to paint? Hang with artists, and brushes feel sexy. The AA story's a lifeline. Sobriety wasn't the guy's grit, it was his new gang. Swap barflies for teetotalers, and the beer loses its buzz. It's less about you, more about who's in the frame. The practical bit's a playbook. Join a crew, any crew, where your habit's the handshake. Book nerds, gym buffs, coders. Pick your poison, and let it infect you. Clear's not saying ditch your slacker pals, though maybe dial it back. He's saying stack the deck. The ripple twist's a bonus. Your morning jog might drag your brother along. It's a feedback loop. Lift your orbit, and it lifts you higher. This chapter's a mirror. Your habits reflect your crowd, so choose one worth reflecting. Chapter 10. How to find and fix the causes of your bad habits. Chapter 10. Shifts gears to tackle bad habits head-on, circling back to the habit loop. Cue, craving, response, reward, to uncover why they dig in and how to uproot them. Clear opens with a personal confession. He used to bite his nails, a tic that flared under stress or boredom. It wasn't random. He traced it to moments of fidgety unease, like waiting for a meeting. This sets the stage. Bad habits aren't flaws to shame away. They're solutions to hidden problems. To ditch them, you've got to sleuth out the trigger and flip the script, making the habit less appealing, harder, or unsatisfying. He revisits the 4 laws, make it obvious, attractive, easy, satisfying, and inverts them for breaking habits. Start with cues. They're the match that lights the fire. Nail-biting kicked in when Clear's hands were idle. Snacking might hit when you pass the pantry. Step 1's awareness. Spot the spark. He suggests digging into the craving next. What's the itch? Stress relief, distraction, comfort. Bad habits pay off somehow, or they die out. His nail-biting soothed nerves. Your late-night scrolling might dodge loneliness. Pinpoint the why, and you've got leverage. Clear pushes the inversion. Make it invisible, unattractive, difficult, unsatisfying. Hide the cue. Keep nails trimmed or hands busy. Stash snacks out of sight. Reframe the craving. Nail-biting's not relief. It's gross. Scrolling's not fun. It's a time sink. Add friction. Coat nails in bitter polish. Lock your phone in a drawer. Strip the reward. Swap bitten nails for a manicure that feels better. He shares a story of a woman who cut smoking by linking it to a nasty image. Tarred lungs. The habit didn't just fade, it repulsed her. He leans on psychology here. Habits solve problems, even badly. Procrastination might dodge fear of failure. Overeating might numb a rough day. Clear's not preaching willpower. He's preaching rewrite. Replace the fix. Chew gum instead of nails. Call a friend instead of scrolling. It's not about resisting. It's about redirecting. He cites a guy who swapped beer for sparkling water. Same fizz, no buzz. The cue stayed, but the response shifted, and the reward held up. Clear wraps with a gut check. Bad habits signal needs. Shame buries them. Curiosity cracks them open. Map the loop, invert the laws, and sub in something better. This chapter's a detective kit. Find the root, and the grass pulls easier. Core ideas. Bad habits stem from cues and cravings. Spot them to stop them. Invert the 4 laws. Invisible, unattractive, difficult, unsatisfying. Habits solve problems. Figure out what, and offer a better fix. Replace, don't resist. Swap the action, keep the reward. Curiosity beats guilt. Dig into why, not just how to quit. Expanded explanation. Clear's nail-biting hooks relatable. Who hasn't got a dumb tick? He's not flexing superiority. He's showing the puzzle. Stress or boredom flipped his switch, and bam, teeth on nails. It's a light bulb. Bad habits aren't chaos, they're patterns. Your coffee overload might tie to a 3 p.m. slump. Your doom scrolling to a quiet house. The loop's the map. Cue, empty hands. Craving, calm. Response, bite. Reward, relief. Crack that code, and you're not just flailing, you're fixing. The inversion's a master stroke. Make it invisible? No idle hands, no biting. Knit or doodle instead. Unattractive. Picture ragged cuticles, not chill vibes. Difficult. Bitter polish tastes like regret. Unsatisfying. A smooth manicure trumps chewed stubs. Clear's smoker ladies a killer example. Tarred lungs turned puffs into puke. It's not preachy, it's primal. Twist the story, and the habit's not a pal, it's a pest. You're not fighting, you're flipping. The habit says solutions, bits deep. Nail-biting wasn't dumb, it was a stress vent. Overeating might hug a bad mood, smoking might pause a racing mind. Clear's not shaming, He's sleuthing. What's the job? Find it, then hire a better worker. Gum's got no nails but all the chew. Water's got fizz without the fog. It's sneaky smart. Don't kill the need, just swap the tool. That beer to seltzer guy. Genius. Same vibe, new ending. The curiosity angle's the closer. Guilt's a dead end. Yelling, "Stop it," at yourselves like yelling at rain. But why this? Opens doors. Clear's handing you a flashlight. Peek at the cue, poke the craving, test the tweak. Nail-biting's not you being weak, it's you being human. This chapter's less about banishing bad, more about building better. Root out the cause, rig the game, and the habits toast. Chapter 11. Walk slowly, but never backward. Chapter 11 shifts focus to the long game of habits, emphasizing persistence over perfection as the key to lasting change. Clear opens with a story about the San Antonio Spurs, a basketball team that racked up wins not with flashy stars but with steady, unglamorous effort. Their coach, Greg Popovich, drilled basics, passing, defense, until they became second nature. The result? Decades of quiet dominance. Clear uses this to frame a core truth. Habits aren't about speed or brilliance. They're about showing up, inching forward, and never quitting. Progress might crawl, but it compounds. He introduces the idea of the power of tiny gains again, but with a twist. It's not just about growth. It's about not sliding back. A 1% improvement daily sounds small, but over a year it's a 37-fold leap. Miss a day? No disaster. Miss a week? You're treading water. Clear likens it to a plane on autopilot. Veer off course a degree, and you're miles off target. Habits are that rudder. Small, consistent nudges keep you flying straight. The Spurs didn't win with heroics. They won with reps. You don't need to sprint. Just don't reverse. Clear tackles the dip we all hit. Early effort, no results. He calls it the valley of disappointment. You grind, but the mirror or bank account doesn't budge. It's why people bail. Expectations outpace reality. He pulls out the stonecutter analogy. 99 hammer blows, nothing. 100, it splits. Those first swings weren't wasted. They stacked. Habits are the same. Every gym trip, every page written, builds pressure. Stick it out, and the crack comes. The trick? Focus on the reps, not the reveal. He doubles down on consistency with a practical nudge. Don't break the chain. Mark an X for every day you do the habit. Right, stretch, whatever. The chain's a carrot. Snap it, and you feel the sting. Clear shares how a comedian built a career this way. One joke a day, no skips. It's not sexy, but it's steel. Each X is a brick in the wall. Miss once? Fine. Twice? You're flirting with a slide. The mantra's simple. Slow's okay. Backwards not. Clear closes with a reality check. Habits aren't a race. The Spurs didn't peak overnight. Years of quiet work paid off. You're not failing if it's gradual. You're failing if you stop. This chapter's a pep talk for the patient. Keep walking and the distance adds up. Core ideas. Consistency beats speed. Small, steady steps win over time. Tiny gains compound, but only if you don't backslide. The valley of disappointment tests patience. Push past it. Don't break the chain. Daily reps build unbreakable habits. Progress is slow but sure. Focus on forward, not fast. Expanded explanation. The Spurs story's a slow burn with a big payoff. Popovich didn't chase headlines. He chased drills. Clear saying that's your blueprint. No fireworks, just footwork. The 1% math's back, but it's got teeth now. Skip a day, and you're not doomed, but skip a streak, and you're stalling. It's like tending a fire. A spark's fine. But let it die, and you're scrambling. The plain bits are wake up. Habits aren't just progress, they're direction. 1 degree off, and you're not in LA. You're in Vegas. Stay the course, and the miles pile up. The valley of disappointment's a gut check. You hit the gym, eat kale, and crickets. Clear's not sugarcoating. Results lag, and that's normal. The stonecutter's a perfect jab. 99 swings feel futile, but 100's the prize. Every salad, every word typed is a blow. Trust the stack. It's why gyms empty out post-January. Folks want instant abs, not invisible gains. Clear's plea. Zoom out. The scale'll move, the book'll finish. Later than you want, sooner than you think. The chain trick's a stroke of genius. 1x a day's nothing until it's 50. Clear's comedian grinding jokes daily's the proof. No skips, and you've got a Netflix special. It's a mind game. Break the chain, and it's not just a missed day. It's a snapped streak. That sting's a motivator. The X's a trophy. Miss once, life happens. Twice, you're wobbling. It's not about perfection. It's about momentum. Slow's no sin. Stopping is. The rap's a quiet fist bump. The Spurs didn't blitz. They built. You don't need to dazzle, just dawdle forward. Clear's not promising quick fixes. He's promising a slow cook. Every step's a deposit. Every skip's a withdrawal. This chapter's your compass. Point ahead, plod on, and the horizon shifts closer. Chapter 12. The Law of Least Effort. Chapter 12 dives deeper into the third law of behavior change. Make it easy by spotlighting a human truth. We're wired to take the path of least resistance. Clear kicks off with a historical detour to 19th century farming, where French settlers in Ohio built straight fences while English ones zigzagged. Why? The French hauled lighter logs. The English lugged heavy timber and cut corners. Literally, the easier route won. Clear ties this to habits. Your brain's lazy. It picks what's simple, not what's noble. To stick with good habits, shrink the effort. To ditch bad ones, pile it on. He leans on science to back this up. Behavior studies show animals, and us, favor low-energy moves. A pigeon pecks the closer lever. You grab the snack in reach. Clear calls it the law of least effort. If two paths get you the same reward, the shorter one rules. Modern life's a trap here. Scrolling X beats writing a novel because it's instant. Good habits lose out unless you rig them to be the easy pick. Leave your gym bag packed, and it's a no-brainer to go. Bury it in the closet, and Netflix wins. Clear pushes the make it easy playbook with real-world hacks. Subtract steps. Want to cook healthy? Prep veggies ahead. Chopping's done. Dinner's a breeze. He shares how a guy boosted flossing by keeping the floss next to his toothbrush. No hunt, no hassle. Scale it down too. The 2-minute rule's back. Read 1 page, not a chapter. It's not the full habit, it's the on-ramp. Less friction, more action. He cites a study. Hospital staff washed hands more when soap dispensers were closer. Ease isn't luxury, it's leverage. For bad habits, flip it. Add friction. Clear tells of a friend who curbed TV binging by unplugging the set after each use. Replugging was a chore, so he didn't. Lock your phone in a box, hide the junk food upstairs. Effort deuces the itch. He's not preaching grit, he's preaching gravity. Let the slope do the work. The less you wrestle, the more you win. Environment's the MVP again. A kitchen stocked with fruit, trum a willpower duel with chips. Clear wraps with a nudge. Easy doesn't mean weak, it means smart. Habits stick when they flow, not when they fight. Shave the seconds, cut the corners, and watch good take root. This chapter's a cheat sheet. Why strain when you can streamline? Core ideas. Humans default to least effort. Habits follow the easy path. Make good habits simple, cut steps, shrink the start. Add friction to bad habits, effort snuffs them out. Environment sets the slope. Rig it for less resistance. Easy's not lazy, it's strategic for long-term wins. Expanded explanation. The fence story's a clever jab. French farmers didn't outsmart the English. They out-eased them. Clear's saying you're no different. Your brain's a shortcut junkie. The pigeon pecking the near lever's us in a nutshell. It's why your phone's a habit and your dumbbells aren't. One's a tap, the other's a trek. The law of least effort's no insult. It's biology. Good habits flop unless you grease the wheels. Bad ones thrive on oil-slick ease. The hacks are gold. Prepped veggies? You're not cooking, you're assembling. Floss by the brush. It's a reflex, not a chore. Clear's 2-minute rule's a ninja move. One page hooks you, and next thing, you're 10 deep. It's not about willpower, it's about momentum. The hospital soap bit's a clincher. Move the dispenser, spike the suds. Tiny tweaks, big shifts. You're not battling yourself, you're building a slide to slip down. Friction's the bad habit kryptonite. Unplug the TV. Genius. 2 seconds of ugh. Derail a binge. Phone in a box. Cookies on a high shelf. It's not resistance, it's roadblocks. Clear's friend didn't outwill the remote. He outwitted it. It's a judo flip. Use laziness against itself. Stock fruit, ditch chips, and your hands grabbing an apple before you blink. Environment's the puppet master. Pull its strings, and you're dancing. The closer's a fist bump. Easy's not a cop-out, it's a coup. Why grunt through a habit when you can glide into it? Shave a step, and you're not just starting, you're staying. This chapter's a wink. Don't work harder, work slicker. Rig the game, and the habit's yours. Chapter 13, How to Stop Procrastinating by Using the 2-minute Rule. Chapter 13, zooms in on the third law of behavior change. Make it easy, with a laser focus on beating procrastination, that sneaky thief of good intentions. Clear starts with a nod to procrastination's universal grip. We all delay, even on stuff we want to do. He shares a story of a woman who dreamed of running a marathon but couldn't start, until she shrank it to tying her shoes. That tiny act snowballed into regular jogs, then the race itself. The trick? The 2-minute rule? Any habit can start with a version that takes 2 minutes or less. It's not the finish line, it's the starting gun. He frames this as a procrastination buster. Big goals like write a book or get fit loom like mountains, so we freeze. The 2-minute rule chops them down. Write a book becomes write 1 sentence. Get fit becomes put on workout clothes. Clear says it's not about the full haul, it's about cracking the gate. Once you're in, momentum kicks in. He cites a guy who built a reading habit this way. 1 page a night turned into chapters. 2 minutes isn't the habit, it's the hook. Clear ties this to psychology. Starting's the hurdle, not sustaining. Studies show action beats intention. Begin, and your brain shifts gears. He calls these gateway habits, small moves that unlock the real deal. Want to meditate? Sit still for 2 minutes. Guitar, strum 1 chord. The rule's genius is its dumb simplicity. 2 minutes is too easy to dodge. Procrastination thrives on dread. Shrink the task, and dread's got no grip. He pushes it further with decisive moments, those fork-in-the-road seconds that tip your day. Brew coffee or grab soda, shoes on or scroll X. The 2-minute rule rigs these choices. Make the good path a breeze. Clear shares how he cut procrastination on writing by prepping his desk the night before. Morning meant sit and type, not stall. It's not willpower, it's setup. For bad habits, flip it. 2 minutes to unplug the TV destroys the binge before it starts. Clear wraps with a reality check. Habits grow from small seeds. The marathon lady didn't leap to 26 miles. She stepped into sneakers. 2 minutes isn't trivial, it's transformative. This chapter's a lifeline for the stuck. Don't climb the mountain, just lace up. Core ideas. Procrastination dies with tiny starts. 2 minute rule shrinks the leap. Gateway habits hook you. 2 minutes sparks more. Starting trumps planning, action flips the switch. Decisive moments shape your day. Make good ones easy. Small beginnings scale up. Habits build from the first step. Expanded explanation. The marathon woman's a quiet hero. Shoes on, not a sprint. Got her there. Clear's nailing procrastination's Achilles heel. We don't stall because we're lazy, but because we're daunted. Write a book. Sounds like a year of sweat. One sentence is a yawn. The 2 minute rule's a ninja. It sneaks past your excuses. That guy reading one page, he's not faking it. He's falling into it. 2 minutes is a Trojan horse. Looks harmless. Delivers big. The psych angle's tight. Starting's the monster under the bed. Once you peek, it's just socks. Clear's gateway habits. Tag is spot on. 2 minutes of meditation isn't enlightenment, but it's a door. Strum a chord, and you're not Clapton, yet you're strumming more. It's brain judo. Procrastination's all later, but 2 minutes is now. Too short to dread, long enough to spark. Next thing, you're 10 pages in, wondering why you ever stalled. Decisive moments are the secret sauce. Coffee or soda, shoes or screen. Clears desk, preps a slick move. Nighttime him teed up morning him for the win. It's not grit, it's grease. 2 minutes rigs the fork. Shoes by the door, and you're out. TV unplugged, and you're safe. Procrastination's a chain. Snap the first link, and it's dust. The rule's your pliers. Twist the start, and the rest unravels. The closer's a mic drop. That marathon didn't start with a gun. It started with laces. Clear's not selling shortcuts. He's selling seeds. 2 minutes plants it. Time grows it. This chapter's your shovel. Dig in small and watch the habit bloom. Chapter 14. How to make good habits inevitable and bad habits impossible. Chapter 14. Doubles down on the third law of behavior change. Make it easy by pushing it to the extreme. Design your life so good habits roll like clockwork and bad ones hit a wall. Clear opens with a tale of Victor Hugo again, the guy who locked his clothes away to write The Hunchback of Notre Dame. No outfit, no escape. Productivity was inevitable. Clear spins this into a broader point. Willpower's shaky, but commitment devices, tools or setups that lock you in, make habits stick and slip-ups vanish. It's not about resisting, it's about rigging. He frames this as a one-way gate. A commitment device is a choice you make now that binds future you. Like Hugo's naked writing stint, Clear shares a modern twist. A guy who wanted to wake early bought an alarm clock, then tossed the snooze button. No override, no excuses. Up he got. It's a preemptive strike. Decide once and the habit's on rails. For bad habits, it's the flip. Make them impossible. A friend of Clear's cut internet binges by setting his router to shut off at 10 p.m. No signal, no scrolling. Done. Clear ties this to the law of least effort. Humans drift toward what's simple. Good habits need a downhill slope. Automate them. He cites a study. People saved more for retirement when enrollment was automatic. Opt out, not opt in. No decision, no dodge. Scale it down. Set your gym clothes out nightly, and morning workouts flow. Bad habits, uphill slog. Add a password to your TV, and binging's a hassle. The less you think, the more you do right. He pushes one-time actions as gold. Buy a water filter, and hydration's a tap away. Drink more, no sweat. Install a pull-up bar in your doorway, and every pass is a rep. For vices, cut the root, trash the junk food, cancel the streaming sub. Clear tales of a smoker who ditched cigarettes by flushing them. Temptation gone, habit gutted. It's not daily grit. It's a single swing that shifts the game. Clear raps with a nudge. Inevitability's the goal. Hugo didn't wrestle distraction. He banned it. Stack the deck so good's the only play, and bad's off the table. This chapter's a lockpick. Set the trap, and habits fall in line. Core ideas. Commitment devices lock in good habits, block bad ones. Decide once, win forever. Make good habits easy and automatic, bad ones a slog or impossible. One-time actions shift the tide. Small moves, big payoffs. Willpower's weak, setups strong. Rig the system, skip the fight. Inevitability's the aim, good flows, bad stalls. Expanded explanation, Hugo's back, and he's a mad genius. Stripping to rights wild, but it worked. Clear's not saying go nude, he's saying go nuclear. Commitment devices are your handcuffs. Tie yourself to the mast, and temptation's a ghost. That snooze-tossing guy, brutal but brilliant. No button, no bargaining. It's a now you that screws over lazy you later. The router trick's just as slick. 10 p.m. blackout, and the internet's a memory. No choice, no chance. Habits on, vices off. The least effort tie-in's a no-brainer. We're sloths at heart. Auto-enrolled savings soared because doing nothing was the win. Clear's gym clothes hacks the same vibe. Laid out, you're halfway there. Buried, you're toast. Flip it. TV password's a speed bump, and suddenly a book looks better. It's not about heroics, it's about inertia. Make good a glide, bad a grind, and your brain picks the path of least push. One-time actions are the sleeper hit. Water filters a yawn, until you're chugging H2O like a champ. Pull-up bar, you're flexing every trip to the john. Clear's smoker flushing cigs is a gut punch. One flush and the habit's drowned. It's a single domino. Tip it, and the chain falls. Trash the cookies, ditch the app. Why wrestle daily when one chop cuts the cord? The closer's a power move. Hugo didn't hope, he hacked. Clear's handing you the keys. Lock good in, lock bad out. It's not flexing willpower, it's forging a cage. This chapter's your blueprint. Build the machine, and habits run themselves. Chapter 15. The cardinal rule of behavior change. Chapter 15. Anchors the fourth law of behavior change. Make it satisfying as the beating heart of habit stickiness. Dubbing it the cardinal rule. What's rewarded gets repeated. What's punished gets ditched. Clear kicks off with a quirky tale of Charles Darwin's dad, a doctor who trained himself to sneeze on command by sniffing snuff until it stuck. Humans aren't much different. Scroll X for likes, and you're scrolling tomorrow. Burn your hand on the stove, and your glove up next time. Clear says instant gratification's the kingpin here. Modern life's a reward buffet. Cookies, pings, streams, all hit fast. Good habits like exercise or saving cash pay slow, so they struggle. The fix? Rig a quick win. Finish a workout, savor a smoothie, sweeten the pot now, not later. Clear pushes tracking as a satisfaction hack. Mark an X for every gym day, and the chain's abuzz. Break it, and the sting's real. He shares a story of a guy who moved a paperclip for every sales call. Jarring them up felt like a game. It's not the task, it's the tally. He warns, though, don't track for pride. Focus on the streak, not the swagger. Pair it with a treat. Write a page, sip tea, and the habit's a double dip of yum. For bad habits, flip it. Make them sting. Clear tells of a woman who quit nail biting by betting a friend $50 she'd stop. Cash on the line, and her hands stayed clean. It's not shame, it's stakes. He calls this an accountability contract. Rope in a pal, and screwing up costs more than pride. Instant pain beats vague guilt. The catch? Rewards and punishments need to hit quick. Your brain's too impatient for distant carrots or sticks. Clear closes with a gut punch. Satisfaction's non-negotiable, that a Darwin sneeze stuck because it tickled. Your habits need that tickle too. Stack joy on good, slap pain on bad, and the cardinal rule runs the show. This chapter's a lever, pull it right, and habits click. Core ideas. Satisfaction drives habits. What feels good sticks, what hurts stops. Instant rewards. Trump delayed ones, sweeten good habits fast. Tracking's a buzz, chains and tallies make reps rewarding. Bad habits fade with quick pain, add stakes to break them. The cardinal rule's king, reward repeats, punishment repels. Expanded explanation, Darwin's dad sneezing for kicks is a wild hook. But it's the payoff that wired it. Clear's saying your brain's the same. It's a sucker for a good time. Skinner's rats are the proof. Treats locked in levers, shocks killed them. You're no lab rat, but you're close. Scroll for a laugh, and you're back. Stub your toe, and you're dodging. The instant gratification bit's a zinger. Cookies win over kale because sugar's now, health's next year. Pair it with a perk, tea after words, and you're not just doing, you're digging it. It's a 1-2 punch. Tally the win, taste the treat. The bad habit flips a sting that sings. Nail-biting lady's $50 bet? Savage. She didn't quit for glory, she quit for green. Clear's contract idea's a cage. Friends watching, wallets weeping, and you're straight. It's instant. Guilt's slow burn doesn't cut it, but a hit to the pocket does. The science checks. Rats dodge shocks fast, not later. Your candy run needs a now cost. Owe a buddy a coffee, and it's sour. The rap's a banger. Darwin snorts stuck because it sparked. Your jog's got to spark too. Joy on good, jolt on bad. It's not rocket science, it's reward science. This chapter's your remote. Press play on pleasure, pause on pain, and habits tune in. Chapter 16. How to stick with good habits. Every day, Chapter 16. Zeroes in on the nuts and bolts of consistency, reinforcing the fourth law, make it satisfying, with a focus on tracking and resilience. Clear opens with a story about Benjamin Franklin, who, at 20, started logging 13 virtues daily. Temperance, silence, order, marking a dot for every slip. Decades later, he still carried the habit, a ledger of his life. Clear uses this to pitch tracking as a daily anchor. It's not just proof you showed up, it's a nudge to keep going. Satisfaction comes from seeing the streak, and that keeps habits humming. He doubles down on the chain method. Don't break it. Mark an X, move a marble, tally a call. Whatever it is, the growing pile's a quiet thrill. Clear shares a tale of a stockbroker who built wealth by tracking 2 sales calls a day. Each checkmark was a win, and the wins stack. It's not about the task, it's the tick. Miss a day? Life happens. Miss 2? You're on a ledge. He cites a comedian's rule. 1 joke daily, no gaps. Years later, it's a career. The chain's a lifeline. Snap it, and you feel it. Clear digs into why this works. Tracking's a reward loop. Your brain loves progress. Each mark's a dopamine ping, like leveling up in a game. He warns, though, don't obsess over the tool. Paper beats apps if it's simpler. A guy Clear knows tracked workouts with a wall calendar. X's in red, no fuss. It's not tech, it's tangibility. The catch? Don't let tracking blind you. Running's not the X, it's the sweat. Focus on the act. Let the mark cheer it on. He pivots to recovery. Slip-ups don't kill habits. Slumps do. Clear tells of a friend who missed a gym day, then bounced back next morning. No spiral. The rule's gold. Never missed twice. 1 gap's a blip. 2's a trend. He ties this to sports. Pros don't dwell on a bad game. They reset. You're not perfect. You're persistent. Tracking helps here. A blank day stings, but filling the next one heals. It's not guilt, it's grit. Clear wraps with a nod to Franklin's dots. Habits aren't flawless, they're faithful. Show up, mark it, recover fast. This chapter's a drumbeat. Daily ticks build a rhythm you can't quit. Core ideas. Tracking locks in habits. Daily marks make showing up satisfying. Don't break the chain. Streaks pull you back every day. Progress pings the brain. Each tally's a tiny win. Never miss twice. Quick recovery beats perfection. Consistency's king. Stick with it, and habits stick too. Expanded explanation. Franklin's virtue logs a time capsule. Dots at 20, still dotting at 80. Clear saying that's your ticket. Track it, and it tracks you. The chain's a quiet beast. X's piling up feel like treasure, and you're hooked. That stockbroker's calls. 2 a day's nothing, but the checks built a fortune. The comedian's jokes, 1 laugh at a time, and he's on stage. It's not the grind, it's the groove. Skip once? Fine, you're human. Twice? You're flirting with a fall. The chain's your shadow, keep it long. The brain bits slick. Each X is a high five. Dopamine's cheap, and tracking's the dealer. Clear's wall calendar guy's a vibe. Red ink, no app crashes, just raw proof. It's not about gadgets, it's about grip. But he's real. Don't worship the X. Running's the legs, not the pen. The mark's a hype man, not the star. Keep it simple, keep it real, and it's a daily pull you can't shake. The recovery rule's a lifeline. Miss a gym day, shrug, hit it tomorrow. Clear's friend didn't mope, he moved. Never miss twice is a gut punch. 1's a hiccup, 2's a habit killer. Sports pros get it. Strike out, then swing again. Tracking's your spotter. A blank day's a jab, but the next X is a jab back. It's not about never falling, it's about never staying down. Franklin's dots seal it. Habits aren't pristine, they're persistent. Clear's drumming a beat. Tick the box, ride the streak, bounce back fast. This chapter's your metronome. Keep the rhythm and habits hum. Chapter 17. How an accountability partner can change everything. Chapter 17. Ties the 4th law, make it satisfying, to the power of other people, arguing that an accountability partner can turn shaky habits into ironclad routines. Clear opens with a story about Michael Phelps, the swimming legend, whose coach, Bob Bowman, wasn't just a trainer, he was a hawk. Bowman tracked every lap, every stroke, and when Phelps slacked, he'd call it out. That external eye didn't just push Phelps, it locked his habits in. Gold medals followed. Clear's point. Solo's tough, but a partner's gaze makes good stick and bad squirm. He frames accountability as a satisfaction booster. Habits feel good when they pay off, but slip-ups sting more with someone watching. Clear shares a tale of a woman who quit smoking by promising her daughter she'd stop. Every puff risked a broken vow, and that hurt worse than cravings. It's not shame, it's stakes. An accountability partner flips the script. Success gets a cheer. Failure gets a nudge. The reward's sweeter, the cost's sharper. Your brain locks onto both. Clear digs into why this works. We're social beasts. You'll dodge a donut faster if a friend's betting you won't eat it. He cites a study. People stuck to exercise plans 35% more with a partner checking in. It's not magic, it's mirrors. Someone reflects your wins and flops. He tells of a guy who cut procrastination by texting a buddy every finished task. Each done pinged like a high five. The partner's not a cop, they're a coach, and that shifts the game. He pushes contracts for teeth. Sign a pact. Pay $100 if you skip the gym, and suddenly slacking's a wallet hit. Clear shares how a couple curbed spending by vowing to match splurges with charity cash. Waste felt wasteful twice over. It's instant. No vague guilt, just a clear cost. Solo tracking's fine, but a partner's eyes, or dollars, make it real. The catch: pick someone who cares. Randoms flake, but a friend's invested. Clear raps with a nod to Phelps. Bowman didn't swim, but he shaped the swimmer. An accountability partner's your spotter. Lifting's on you, but they steady the bar. This chapter's a tag team invite. Pair up, and habits hit harder. Core ideas. Accountability partners boost satisfaction, wins shine, slips sting. Social pressure locks habits in. Someone's watching, so you show up. Partners reflect progress. Cheers and checks keep you on track. Contracts add bite. Tangible stakes make failure hurt fast. A caring partner's key. Real bonds beat solo grit. Expanded explanation. Phelps and Bowman's a killer hook. Those golds weren't just talent, they were tandem. Clear's saying you don't need a coach with a whistle, just a set of eyes. That smoking mom, her daughter's trust was the chain. Break it, and it's not just nicotine, it's heartbreak. Accountability's a megaphone. Good habits get a hell yeah, bad ones get a what's up. It's not about judgment, it's about juice. Satisfaction's louder with a witness. The social angle's dead on. You'll sweat an extra rep if your gym bud's counting. Alone, you'd bail. That 35% exercise bump's no fluke. It's pack power. Clear's texting guys a gem. Each done was a fist bump, and procrastination shrank. A partner's not babysitting, they're beaming back your effort. It's tribal. We thrive on nods, cringe at frowns. Solo's a slog, a sidekicks, a spark. Contracts are the gut punch. Cash on the line, you're not skipping. 100's allowed, nope. That couple's charity twist's savage. Blow $50 on junk, give $50 to good, and suddenly splurging's a double oof. It's instant karma. Guilt's mushy, but a hit to the bank's crisp. Clear's not messing around. Stakes sharpen the edge. A rando won't cut it, though. Your sister's glare beats a stranger's shrug. Phelps seals it. Bowman's stare turned laps into legacy. Clear's handing you a rope. Tie it to someone solid, and they'll pull when you sag. This chapter's a duo deal. Grab a partner, and habits don't just stick, they sing. Chapter 18. The truth about talent, when genes matter and when they don't. Chapter 18. Steps back from the habit-building toolkit to wrestle with a big question. How much do talent and genes steer your success? And how much can habits override them? Clear opens with a sports hook. Michael Phelps and Haichamel Guerrouge, two legends in swimming and running. Phelps's long arms and big feet were built for water. El Guerro's oxygen-rich blood and lean frame screamed track. Both crushed it, but swap their sports, and they'd flounder. Clear's point: genes set the stage, but habits pick the play. Talent helps, but it's not the whole script. He breaks it down. Genes shape your potential, height, lung capacity, even grit. But they don't dictate your habits. Phelps didn't win 23 golds because he floated. He swam daily. El Guerrouge didn't jog to world records. He trained like a machine. Clear says talent's a boost, not a pass. Habits turn raw material into results. He cites studies. Top performers aren't just born, they're built through practice. Genes might deal the cards, but you play the hand. Clear flips to fit. Pick habits that match your wiring. Love words, write. Quick reflexes, game. He shares a story of a guy who flopped at sales, too shy, but soared in auditing, where focus trumped charm. It's not cheating, it's chess. Genes tilt the board. Sprinters with fast twitch fibers fly. Marathoners with slow twitch endure. Lean into your leanings and habits flow easier. Mismatch, and you're pushing a boulder uphill. He digs deeper. Talent shines in competition, less in mastery. Want to be world-class? Genes matter. Phelps wouldn't outrun Usain Bolt. Just want to be solid? Habits rule. Anyone can run a 5K with reps. Clear warns against envy. Chasing someone else's gift wastes your own. He tells of a woman who ditched ballet, short legs, for yoga, flexible spine, peace beat, frustration. Find your lane, and the fourth law, make it satisfying, kicks in naturally. Clear raps with a balance. Genes aren't fate, but they're not nothing. Stack habits on your strengths, and you're not fighting nature, you're riding it. This chapter's a compass. Know your map, then march. Core ideas. Genes set potential. Talent's a head start, not the race. Habits turn gifts into gains. Practice beats raw ability. Match habits to your wiring. Fit makes it fun. Talent's edge is sharpest at the top. Habits level the rest. Play your strengths. Satisfaction flows from alignment. Expanded explanation. Phelps and El Guerrouge are a splashy opener. Fishman and Gazelle, born for their turf. Clear's not denying it. Phelps's flipper feet didn't hurt, but gold didn't drop in his lap. He logged pool hours like a job. El Guerrouge didn't coast on blood. He pounded tracks. Genes are the clay. Habits are the sculptor. The studies back it. Prodigies practice, not just prance. You've got your DNA deal, tall, fast, brainy, but it's reps that cash it in. The fit angle's a light bulb. Shy guy tanking sales but killing audits. That's gold. Don't bash your head on charisma. Pivot to precision. Clear's saying genes whisper hints. Chatty, sell, steady, build. Sprinters twitch fast. Distance runners grind slow. Match the habit, and it's a breeze. Mismatch, and it's a slog. Why swim upstream when you can surf your wave? It's not copping out, it's cashing in. The competition twists sharp. World class needs the gene juice. Phelps in a marathon's a no-go. But decent? Habits got you. Couch to 5Ks open to all. Clear's ballet to yoga ladies a quiet win. Short legs benched her pirouettes, but bendy back owned downward dog. It's not quitting, it's redirecting. Envy's the thief. Chasing Bolt's stride when you're built for laps is a loser's game. Your lane's your gold mine. The closer's a tightrope walk. Genes aren't a jail sentence, but they're not a blank slate. Stack habits where you shine, and satisfaction's built in. Writing's a chore for some, a rush for you. This chapter's your GPS. Read your genes, plot your path, and habits pave it. Chapter 19. The Goldilocks Rule. How to stay motivated in life and work. Chapter 19 tackles the art of keeping habits alive by blending the fourth law, make it satisfying, with a twist on motivation. The Goldilocks Rule. Clear starts with a peek at peak performance, citing how athletes, artists, and even gamers hit a flow state when tasks are just right. Not too easy, not too hard, but on the edge of their ability. He shares a story of a guy named Steve Martin, not the comedian, who grinded Tetris to world-class levels by chasing that sweet spot. Each level upped the ante just enough to keep him hooked. Clear's pitch. Habits stick when they're satisfyingly tough, not soul-crushing or snooze-worthy. He names it the Goldilocks Rule. Motivation peaks when you're working at the brink of your skills, about 4% beyond comfy. Too simple and you're bored, too brutal and you're burned. Clear ties this to brain science. Flow kicks in when challenge and capacity dance close. Dopamine flows, time blurs. He tells of a woman who learned Spanish by starting with kid books, then podcasts, then chats. Each step stretched her just right. It's not about crushing it, it's about chasing it. Clear digs into why this matters. Habits die without juice. Grind the same weight forever, and the gym's a yawn. Bump it a smidge, and it's a rush. He shares how a guy kept running by adding a block a week. Not a marathon leap, just a nudge. The trick: stay in the zone where it's hard enough to care, easy enough to win. Pros do this. Golfers tweak swings. Coders tackle bugs just past their grip, but in reach. It's a game. Too soft, you're out. Too steep, you're sunk. He flips to the downside. Plateaus kill drive. Master a habit, and it's autopilot. Great, but dull. Clear warns, don't coast. Push the edge, write tighter prose, lift a hair more. He cites a chef who tweaked recipes endlessly, not for stars, but for spark. Boredom's the enemy. Goldilocks keeps it fresh. For setbacks, lean on the rule. Drop back, not out, then climb again. A runner sidelined by injury, jogged slow, then built, still in the game, just right. Clear raps with a nod to Martin's Tetris grind. Mastery's not a sprint, it's a stretch. Find your 4%, and habits don't just stick, they sing. This chapter's a tightrope. Balance the push, and motivation's yours. Core ideas. Goldilocks. Rule. Habits thrive at the edge. Tough but doable. Flow fuels motivation. Match challenge to skill. About 4% past easy. Push the brink. Too simple bores. Too hard breaks. Plateaus sap juice. Tweak the task to stay sharp. Stretch. Don't snap. Small nudges keep habits alive. Expanded explanation. Steve Martin's Tetris Tales a geeky gem. Blocks falling faster, and he's glued. Clear saying that's your habit sweet spot. Not a cakewalk, not a cliff. The Goldilocks rule's a bullseye. 4% past cozies where the magic hums. That Spanish learner's a slow burn win. Picture books to convo. Each jump a stretch, not a strain. It's brain candy. Flows when you're teetering, not tumbling. Dopamine's pumping, clock's gone. Habits need that buzz, or they're just chores. The wiser wake up. Lift the same 20 pounds forever. Snoozeville, add a plate, and it's alive. That runner's extra block's a quiet killer. Small enough to nail, big enough to feel. Clears pros, like golfers tweaking grips. Show it's universal. Edge walking's the hook. Too easy, and you're scrolling X. Too nuts, and you're napping. The 4%'s your compass. Nudge it, and you're not just doing, you're digging. Plateaus are the silent stab. Nail a habit, say 5K runs, and it's smooth but flat. Clear's chef tinkering recipes is a spark. Mastery's not a nap, it's a nudge. Don't settle. Sharpen the knife, up the pace. Setbacks, Goldilocks saves you. Drop to a jog, not a couch, then climb. It's not failure, it's recalibration. The rule's a lifeline. Keep the tension, dodge the tedium. Martin's Tetris grinds the mic drop. World class from wee pushes. Clear's handing you a dial. Tune the challenge just so, and habits don't drag, they dance. This chapter's your tightrope pole. Lean in, stay steady, and motivation's got legs.